Hello everyone and welcome back to Austin Plus, where today we are talking about the Avengers Doomsday film, because after the collapse of many timelines, the rise of incursions, and the growing chaos of the multiverse, the Avengers are heading into what could be the darkest battle yet. Avengers Doomsday, releasing this December. But what might actually happen to these Avengers in this very movie? Who will survive? Who will die? And could Doctor Doom completely destroy the MCU's heroes before Secret Wars even begins? So today we're answering the question, what might happen to the Avengers in Avengers Doomsday. So a while ago I did what might happen to the X-Men, but this time we are doing the Avengers to see who will survive that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first of all, we need to understand what state the MCU is in actually right now before we head down into this stuff. So the MCU is currently in a state of a lot of instability. Timelines are colliding, incursions threaten entire universes, and the multiverse is becoming harder to control. With Kang seemingly being replaced by Doctor Doom as the saga's main villain, the stakes may become more personal and strategic. Unlike Kang's chaotic multiversal warfare, Doom represents the calculated domination, a villain capable of dismantling Avengers emotionally, politically, and physically. With all of his powers, we don't know what stage Doctor Doom is at. We don't know how much power he actually has at this point, because we don't know which Doctor Doom we're actually experiencing. So it is a bit hard to judge based on that. However, in this film, based on the Thunderbolts, based on the end of Captain America 4 with Sam Wilson, it is looking likely that the Avengers will be divided. One of the biggest possibilities in Doomsdays is that the Avengers are actually no longer a united team. Different teams may form with conflicting ideologies and goals, like the New Avengers, and then whatever Sam Wilson's team is, because characters, as I said, like Sam Wilson, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and the Thunderbolts could disagree on how to handle this multiversal collapse. But Marvel may often build tension between these fractured teams, and Doomsday could mirror the elements of the Civil War to a much multiversal and larger scale. So I think that's why they're bringing in Battle World now. But I do think Doctor Doom is a good character to combat these ideologies, because that's what he's all about. He's all about his way or the highway, or his way or the no way. So I do think, in saying all of this, Doctor Doom could be the perfect character to manipulate the whole of the MCU and the entire MCU itself, not only the Avengers teams. Because Doom is not just powerful, he is intelligent, patient, manipulative. Rather than attacking immediately, he may position himself as the humanity's solution to the multiversal destruction of incursions and everything that's happened, because some heroes could even trust him at first. In comics, Doom often gains control through political influence and strategic planning, rather than brute force alone, which is obviously what people want to see, but we also want to see that those mind games take place as well. And the Avengers may realize they are being outplayed rather than overpowered, because I think that is what this is kind of at right now. That's the kind of stage we are at. We are at a point where the Avengers are divided and they're easily led on. So this could end up, I reckon, with a major Avenger or Avengers dying or disappearing like they did in Infinity War. Because remember, Doomsday's part 1, Secret Wars is part 2. So because Secret Wars follows Doomsday, this film could function as the MCU's Empire Strikes Back. I don't know what A New Hope would be, because we don't have any hope, but I do think that this film could function as the Empire Strikes Back, because some Avengers may permanently die, while others become trapped in collapsing universes or separated across timelines, and that will be actually a combination of Battleworld itself, which I think would be a brilliant cliffhanger and something to end on, because characters nearing their end of the MCU journeys could receive emotional sacrifices, while newer heroes inherit responsibility moving forward. And this movie may intentionally leave audiences uncertain about who survives, and I think that's why they left Infinity War where it was, because we didn't know if those people that vanished were coming back. And that was obviously a big emotional payoff for the MCU. But they're trying to do that again, 7 years later? I do think they could do it. I do think they could. it is all about, can they do it right? It'll still make a shit ton of money, there's no doubt about that. However, the biggest, like, yes, you can see some Avengers dying, but you also want to see what teams who goes where. Like, as for Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and all that, we don't actually know, because Doctor Strange has become one of the MCU's most important multiversal characters, no matter what variant we're talking about, because after the events of Multiverse of Madness, he already understands incursions and the dangers of reality collapsing, and in Doomsday, Strange may act as the central strategist during this film, trying to prevent total destruction across multiverses. But however, this willingness to take morally dangerous actions could also place him in with the conflict of the Avengers. He is the mind that understands it from both angles, but obviously there's still two factions. So I do think this will be like a civil war type thing between the Avengers and all that, but Doctor Strange will be like the not the mediator, but the peace of mind, mind of peace. What's the word, like the person who's actually right? I don't know. Anyway, but I do think Doctor Strange will be the central figure. However, I don't know if he's confirmed in this film. I think they might keep that a secret, or they don't know which variant of Doctor Strange to bring in. Now, I do think they should bring in the original. Some people say they should bring in the one from What If. That doesn't make sense because the guy's just a nut job. Spider-Man No Way Home ended, and now we've got Brand New Day coming this summer, just before when this comes out. So people are wondering, could Spider-Man be pulled back into this conflict? At the end of, as I said, Spider-Man No Way Home, Peter Parker lost everything, returning to a more isolated life. But if the multiverse begins collapsing, Spider-Man may once again become essential. Because obviously everyone wants to see him in that symbiote suit. I do believe we'll probably see him in that symbiote suit next season, in this coming film, this May? No, May's gone. July. It's literally next month. Oh my word. But yeah. Now, Peter's emotions could ground this film, I do think, a bit more, and it could bring that, like, grounding emotionless scale to, like, from what it usually is in the ground, or, like, the street level stuff to a massive multiversal scale, because especially if he is forced to reconnect with heroes who no longer remember him, I do think this will be an emotional anchor. He will be an emotional anchor for this film. And I do think that's what we'll need. And I think Spider-Man's the perfect character for that. Especially in the state that he is in now, and obviously what might happen in Brand New Day. Could the movie end with complete defeat? One major theory for Doomsday is that the Avengers will lose. The Avengers will just, like, go... Which is it's a fair assumption, considering in the last one they did, and that's why they've got a second film. It makes sense. Entire universes may collapse and Battle World could begin forming, and Doom may emerge victorious by the end of the film, but rather than delivering the clean ending, Marvel may use Doomsday to create this desperation heading into Secret Wars, so that, as I said, the emotional anchor. Now that might be across many characters, but the Avengers might not win this time, and I do think people need to be prepared for that. Some people say they're going to win and then lose in the next one. That doesn't make sense, because then they wouldn't make a Secret Wars a year later. However, they may simply just survive long enough for the final battle later in 2027. So, what might happen to the Avengers? The Avengers may face their most devastating story yet. Fractured teams, collapsing realities, manipulative villains, permanent consequences, and the complete reshaping of the MCU. If Marvel fully commits to the darker tone, emotional consequences, and massive scale that the storyline demands, Avengers Doomsday could become one of the best and most important MCU films ever. The question is whether the Avengers can survive it, or whether this movie is where Marvel finally breaks the heroes completely. Doomsday has the potential to become less of a traditional superhero victory story, rather than and more of a catastrophic turning point for the Marvel's universe. But without further ado, folks, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment what else you would like to see on the channel. But I hope you have an amazing day as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.
Yeah.